Every day we get closer and closer to real Cowboys football. Today at training camp that just ended a few hours ago, the Cowboys had their first padded practice, which means a little more contact, more competitiveness, especially in the trenches along the offensive and defensive lines. And after just one padded practice, the Cowboys and their fans should be so excited about first-round pick Tyler Guyton. In this video, we're going to watch him handle all-pro pass rusher Micah Parsons multiple times. We're also going to discuss a couple of players that also shine today, so let's get into it. From day one of Tyler Guyton being a Dallas Cowboy, the number one thing that I noticed was his work ethic. Go watch a Tyler Guyton interview and he will tell you he has worked every single day to get to training camp. But that wasn't something that we really knew going into the draft. When the Cowboys selected Guyton late in the first round after trading back, many people were split on the pick. Some people felt like he was a project, a guy that really needed to clean up his technique. He was bending at the waist, he had poor hand placement at times, there were inconsistencies to his game. So for Guyton, the question has always been, can you develop him? The physical tools are there. He's 6'8", 325 pounds. So with the way that Guyton has worked this offseason, the dude took it upon himself to get better, which is not something you can always count on from any draft pick. And now his development is on full display in Oxnard, and I can't even tell you how excited I am. On this play, I can't really tell if Micah is offsides from this angle or it's just insane timing off the snap. But Micah probably has a good half step on Guyton right here once the ball is snapped. Micah Parsons, you know, the guy that is probably the fastest pass rusher in football, a very bendy guy that other teams do not trust their left tackle blocking on an island. Cowboys threw rookie Tyler Guyton over there and said, block him, don't let him wreck the play. And Guyton held up. Micah's gonna get an insane jump off the snap, but the foot speed by Guyton is incredible to kick out of his stance, already at a disadvantage because of the jump, and then just push Micah clean out of the play. Dak steps up to that vacated spot and has a very nice and clean pocket to get this ball out to the receiver. And this is just one of the many impressive clips of Guyton versus Parsons. There were a number of one-on-ones and Guyton held up well in just about every single clip. And this is the funniest part. Look how tired Micah is from Guyton just handling him with that hand strength, not letting him get to the quarterback, not letting him wreck the play. Micah literally talked about how he thought that Tyron Smith being gone was a great thing. He didn't have to put up with that strength, but now he has to deal with another monster at left tackle. And if you think that Guyton was playing well just because Micah wasn't having his best day, watch the power that Parsons has against Terrence Steele on this rep. Now let's compare that to Guyton. Yeah, he's just different. And obviously, like the media, players are also taking notes after the first practice. This is what Cowboys left guard Tyler Smith had to say about the Cowboys' first round pick. I've been truly impressed. It's not very often that you find a human being who measures how he does. 6'7", 330 and has light feet and can just move and just bully dudes. When he really becomes confident and gets the playbook down and does all that stuff, the sky is truly the limit for him and his development. He's a confident guy. He knows the tools that he has. He knows how rare they are. It's just a matter of time before he solidifies things and he's playing at that truly elite level. I know a lot of us complained about the Cowboys moving on from Tyron Smith and not having a plan at left tackle outside of Chuma Edoga. I also complained that Dallas didn't have a plan and they drafted a guy that we didn't know would start on day one. But it's the Cowboys, and if they can do anything right, it's drafting offensive linemen. And so far through camp, that pick looks to be about as good as it could possibly be. Tyler Guyton has absolutely risen the bar on our expectations for him in 2024. He just faced an all-pro pass rusher, a guy that we've seen dominate Cowboys camp. Day one in pads, come out, stifle him, stop him dead in his tracks, and look pretty dominant doing it. Now let's talk about another guy that people are super excited about, this time on the defensive side of the ball. Overshown, who has, by all accounts and videos that I've seen, looked really good. Coming back from the ACL, I was wondering how he'd look moving around, running into guys, making tackles, because for ACLs, you always have to think about the mental part of the game. The knee might be good, but does the player trust that knee trust their athleticism the same way that they did before. And for Overshown, all systems are a go. That dude's not playing around. There have been quite a few clips of him showing off that speed and athleticism that we saw from him last training camp. It doesn't look like he's lost a step or even worried about that knee at all. Whether that's blitzing, in the run game, Overshown has continued to make plays at or behind the line of scrimmage. This was one of the guys that I talked about all offseason, being excited to see him in live action. And honestly, my hopes were pretty high before this training camp, and now they're somehow even higher. In a really quick note, Nick Harris of DallasCowboys.com said that the entire Cowboys linebacker room has looked good throughout training camp, and that includes the veteran signing of Eric Kendricks. And that's something that we should all be excited about after watching safeties try and play linebacker. I'm super excited about Overshown, Kendricks, Clark, you name it. I can't wait to see these linebackers in the preseason. Now let's do some more offensive lineman talk. Brock Hoffman versus Cooper Beebe. The battle for center, the battle that people talked about all offseason, including myself. Based on Patrick Walker's reports from Cowboys camp, he said that Hoffman currently has the lead in the center battle. And while that's interesting, that doesn't really mean a lot to me right now. There's still over a month until this team is playing in a real game, just over a week until the preseason, and I think both guys are going to get a ton of work in those preseason games. Like I mentioned, Beebe is going to show up more when he can flatten people. When there's no restrictions on how hard you can practice, taking guys to the ground, Beebe's time to shine is going to be preseason. We'll see that power, that athleticism, real live in-game snaps to the quarterback. As for Hoffman, all reports have been pretty good. No one's really complaining about him getting a majority of the work at center with the first team offense. I've always said ever since Beebe was drafted, let the best man win. And as long as both guys are getting chances, I'm happy. I want the best offensive line possible, even if that means that Beebe isn't starting. Another guy that actually got reps with the first team during practice today was Trey Lance. Did you guys think that we were going to go through an entire video and not mention Trey Lance? Lance actually got work with the first team offense for the last 2 reps of practice. He ran for a first down and had a completion to the right side to end practice. Now you're probably going to ask, what does that mean? And I'm going to tell you, I have no idea, but do with that information what you will. Maybe it was just out of sheer curiosity of what Lance would look like, throw into the first team wide receivers, or just putting him in a pressure situation. Apparently, this was a much better practice for the Cowboys backup. He made some nice throws. He used his legs, all of the things that we need to see if he wants to be quarterback 2 in 2024. And guys, I'm telling you this because he's going to be quarterback 2. He's not competing with Dak Prescott. I just enjoy talking about Lance because it's so much of an unknown. So to end off this video, let's talk about everything that you guys have been waiting for. You've watched the entire video for this information alone. Brandon Aubrey, our GOAT. I know we're not worried about the kicker position, but let's talk about it for just a second. Reportedly, Aubrey went 7 of 8 on his attempts. His one miss was from 33 yards. His makes were from 33, 24, 36, 39, 40, 41, and 38. Brandon Aubrey is the least of my concerns with this team. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you don't subscribe, Brandon Aubrey is going to miss his first field goal of the season. So head down there, subscribe. I love you all.